everyone, this is Pete here, and we're gonna be another video. Honestly, video it's the lame one, unless you don't like IT. So yeah, I'm gonna be showing you how to do coding in Unity. Obviously, this is actually pretty awesome if you do know how to do it. So for the people who don't know what is Unity, Unity is like kind of like a huge app that you can download and you can code everything from scratch and make the projects from scratch. You make the models like this gun perhaps from scratch. You create everything by yourself. It comes as an empty project and then you can just select what you want to do. So enough of that, let me just give you a quick, I'm gonna give you a quick overview of what you can do. For instance, you can do this. So as you see, I've got a gun here and you can shoot. Now this is pretty basic, obviously. I'm just gonna give you like the code that is pretty basic. And you can even do about terrain. You can even make a terrain like this one. By the way, don't mind the bullets. It's just rolling. As you can see, is the enemy effects are like twirling around. But yeah, let me show you the actual terrain. It will be easier if we do this. All right, let's get out of 2D mode. All right, so what we can do is this whole thing. Actually, you can even make it bigger than this. I just made, so this is one plot. Oh wait, this is one plot, and there's another plot or terrain if you like to call it. And see, there's mountains here. I designed a kind of mountains and sand and everything, and these rocks and these kind of something like trees, I guess, like trees, tall trees, small trees. There's so many. By the way, this is actual grass. Like you gotta put grass into it, and there's like different type of trees. There's even palm trees, and you can even add water into it, like right here, as you can see. You can swim in the water and everything. And not only that, but you can add palm trees. You can even add houses. Now I downloaded these assets. I don't need to create everything from scratch. And you can paint it. You add more water. You add hills, stuff like that. It's pretty awesome. But this is just the beginning. You can create like literal menus, like right here. Yeah, you can create a UI or user interface, like when you load up a game, right? Let's say you load up a game and then it greets you with deploy or like start game, something like that. So yeah. So firstly, I will have to show you. I'll show you the how to download it. So obviously you just go to Unity download. Like that, you click on download Unity. Oh, oops, not this one. Download Unity. This link I'll post it in the description below, and you can choose your Unity download or download Unity Hub. Now I recommend you to just download Unity Hub because it's way easier. And if you're using Windows, then you just press this. But if you're using like Linux or Mac, you better press this and go choose what your Unity download would be. So there's gonna be different types. Like okay, let's not mind about this. There's different types like a wait a second. This is store. But you can choose your Unity and then you have to choose like which one. You want a 2D type, you want a 3D, but that is you need to pay. So you can just press download Unity Hub now. As you see, I've got Unity Hub on the desktop right here. This is Unity Hub. This thing, the one that I'm clicking on, this is Unity Hub. And then when you download everything finished, then you can click it open, everything you've done, it's all finished. Then it's open, then you get Unity Hub right here. Okay, let's wait for it to load. Now you have to click install and then install editor right here. And you can choose which version, you can choose the latest version, official releases, or you can choose the pre-releases and stuff like that. But right now I'm currently using 2021's version, 3.11 F1 version. So yeah. And once you finish download, which will take a little bit of time unless you got an insane computer. So then you can go click the project and then press new project. Once you press new project, you can choose, but in this case, I'm going to be tutoring you on the 3D, not the 3D HDRP or 3D URP, because those types of 3Ds are a little bit more complicated. It's easier if you use just 3D. 2D is also a fine option, but in this case, I'm not going to be tutoring that, so you can click 3D. Name your project. Let's call this test and downloads. Okay, so now we can create a project. It will take a while to load. There we go. Now, let me just close this for now. Close this. And it will just create all the assets, which will take a while. So you can skip forward to the video, and then if you're gonna stay here, then I'll just explain what you what you need in Unity. So obviously in Unity, everything comes from scratch. So you gotta create everything by yourself, every single project, everything. So it's not gonna be as easy as you think. Not like it's not like other programs that you can like that's already pre-made for you. Like they have a toolbox for you to use and then just copy paste it in, stuff like that. For Unity, you gotta make it all by yourself. But in Unity, you can have this thing called the Unity Asset Store. Now this is pretty very useful, obviously, because you can download like now. The thing is, there's some types of product that you have to pay, some types that you don't. So if you want the free assets, you can press 3D. Then about pricing, you can press $0 or just press free assets, honestly, and then it'll just pop up free assets. Everything will be free. You can download it all for free, and it's actually some of them are not that bad quality for real. But there's two things you need to look. First, if you're doing a project on 3D, you have to search. Let's say you want to search let's say you want to search sci-fi guns, for example. Now, we cannot, I repeat, you cannot. Let me find a type of asset that is not for 3D. Well, in this case, I can't find one, but you cannot choose a model that is made for other types, not even 3D like HDPR, because it's not gonna work the same in the normal ones. Like, let's say we want to click this. Okay, this one is not a, this one is for 3D. Is good, everything's fine. But another thing you have to look for is the size. If your computer is not a lot of space, I recommend you use the size that is pretty less, not a lot. Okay, it's still loading. But yeah, try to find the size that is less, not too much, not too less, okay? Don't find something that is like 1 GB or 2 GB, 999 megabytes. That will just not do because it will take just way too long to load unless you got a good computer. But yeah, I will show you some assets that I really like to use, and then while that's doing, okay, there we go. It's finally loaded. I can close Unity Hub out. We do not need it. All right, now let's full screen this. So as you open Unity, you're gonna find something similar to this. You're gonna find a completely endless plane of grayish colors and the grid list, stuff like that. Now, first thing you're gonna notice is this like a videotape kind of thing and the sun. Now, for people who don't know, the sun is actually the directional light. Now, what I mean is that the sun right here is like the actual light. So if we were to turn it away, it's gonna like shine the light on top. Now, let me introduce you to the sample scene. The sample scene right here, as you see in this Hurley right here. Now, this Hurley will include every single character or... Now, the difference between Hurley and assets right here. Now, the assets will contain a lot of stuff. Now, we don't worry about packages because that will be just the code and stuff like that that you can use. Now, the difference between assets and Unity... no, sorry, I meant assets and Hurley is that Hurley will contain something that you call an object or an entity. So everything that's in there will count as an entity, which obviously if you play games you'll understand that a lot of entities will lag out your game and will drop down your FPS. So the more stuff in the Hurley, the better it is, unless it's compact in a single thing. So let's say you do this and then you drag it inside the mail, then that will count as the same entity. So yeah. All right. Now, in the assets part will contain stuff like you can create folders to keep your stuff. You can the scenes here, so you can create different scenes. So if you create another scene, it will teleport you to another page that looks like this. It will be the same like this, and you can create whatever you want. So the scenes are for like switching. Let's say you're on the menu scene and you press play, it will teleport you to another scene, which is gonna be the lobby, and the lobby will teleport you to another scene, which is gonna be the gameplay. So that's what a scene really does. It contains different stuff. So in this case, let me just rename my scene for now. Let's call it just scene, not sample scene. Okay, there we go. So now what we could do is let's create an object. Let's create something in this world. It looks too blank and empty. But first, let me introduce you to these tools right here. Now this thing, this hand tool, you can drag around. It's gonna go really fast, so you have to be careful. But you can also just move around like a normal player. By right clicking, you see this eye icon appear, and then you can use the WASD keys to move around, W for forward, and yeah, technically, you get the point. So you can move around and then you can go edit stuff in here. This thing will be the move tool. The move tool, you can move objects. You can move objects here and there. You can do different kinds of stuff. This thing is called the rotate tool. The rotate tool, you can rotate objects. And I'll show you that in a bit what it does. Okay, this one is called the scale tool. It can create objects to make it and then customize it to be like, maybe you want it a little larger or a little smaller. This tool is called the rect tool, I believe. And this one changes the dimensions of how it looks like. This one, for me, I personally don't find it like that much use. I usually just use it to customize like different types of like objects. I'll show you that in a bit also. This one is a transform tool. It contains every single tool here. I really like using this thing, but it would get sometimes a little messy and it can't go clearly. So I recommend you use these. A tip for you is that you can change these without clicking them. So the Q for the first one, or the hand sign that you can move around. W for the move. I think that's a really easy thing to memorize because W is like obviously you can move with W, so that's how I memorize it. E for the rotate, and E it's just in a line. It's QWERT and Y. I don't use T and Y that often because I don't really use it. I use mainly the move tool, the rotate tool, and the scale tool. So it's Q. No, I don't really use Q either. Honestly, it's W, E, and R. R for the scale, E for the rotate, and W for the move. Now enough of this talk. Let's get into some real modeling and stuff like that. Okay, let's create a new object. Let's right click and then we can see all this kit right here. There's gonna be cut, copy, but the thing that we want to see is 3D object. So we want to hover over the 3D object and let's click on cube. There we go. Now you can see that the cube has appeared and we can press W to move it up out of the ground. Now if we actually play this, the ground is actually the void, so you're gonna fall through it. But yeah, so the cube right here is the only object that you can stand on. You can make it bigger or rotate it. Okay, let's say you want to move it. Let's say you want to move it right here. Alright, you can move the cube around. There we go. We can move it around. The green arrow, it doesn't really matter because sometimes the red arrow is sometimes on the top for me. So just remember these coordinates. You need to remember X, Y, and Z. So X, Y, and Z, or Z, whatever you like to prefer to call it, it's the coordinates or direction or the position, if you like to call it, the position of each. So you can move this. The X one is obviously like the horizontal, and the green one, it depends. Sometimes the angle is a little bit different. The green is for the Y axis, and the Z is for the blue. Okay. So now, what we can do is we can make it bigger or rotate it. Let's rotate it. So you're gonna have this, the blue, obviously for this again. Now see, you can rotate the object. You can make it into a diamond. You can rotate it this way. You can rotate it this way. But yeah, anyhow, let's put it back to normal. Now the scale one, this one is pretty useful. You can make it longer with the red one, or you can make it wider, or you can make it taller, it depends on what are you trying to make. So yeah, let's put that back to normal. Now, as I say, this tool is just change the dimensions. So look, if we can make it like we can like you can do this. You can make it smaller, but the problem is sometimes like it just not really commonly used. So I prefer to use the scale tool. I don't usually use this. All right. And the last one is the is the transformer. Now this can do every single thing. You can make it bigger at the same time. You can rotate it. Now this is an obviously useful tool, but I recommend that you could use it if you're a professional. But for me, I like to use these keys more clearly or easier seen as of like that. By the way, a good tip if you want to make objects come to you, you can just press you can click on the object right here, Control and Shift and F, and it will come to your screen. You can move out, and there it is. But let's Control Z, so it will go back to normal. And to go to it, you have to double click on the object in the hurl key right here. Now, let's say you want the cube to have some color. Let's right click in the assets. Let's go to the assets. Let's right click and let's create something. Let's create a material right here. It's in the middle, and let's make the material. So as you see, the material is a ball, but honestly, you can just change it. You can change the smoothness, you can change the metallicness, but most oftenly, we're gonna use this called the color. You can change the color by clicking into it. You can change it to be something. Let's change it to green. There you go. Now the new material is green. Let's right click and then press rename and call it green. And then let's drag click this. So you hold click and then you drag it into the seed, and then there we go. It makes this object also green. Now you can make it any color you want. I just prefer green. So yeah, you can make this green, and as you see, it looks more colorful and everything. And we can like duplicate it and then do something with it. You can make it taller, and then you can press R, and then maybe something like make it wider or something like that. We can make a T like that, a T. Yeah. All right. Now let's talk about this tab. The scene and game. The game scene will be when you play. So if you press play right now, it obviously it will do nothing because it's just a camera. It won't do anything. So yeah. Now when we press play, if you have if you have like an actual player, so not this camera. This camera is just a camera. If you have a player, you can walk around, but you have to walk on an object, not the void. The void will just fall through to your imminent death. It won't really kill you, but it'll just let you keep falling, like falling endlessly. So yeah, so that's the cube right there. Now you can also create folders. We can create folders. It's on the top, and we can rename it as, let's say, material. I like to call it material, and then you can drag the green ball and then put it in material, and as you see, it keeps things organized. Now, let's say you want something even cooler than a cube. Let's say you want a gun or something like that. So now let's go back to Google and search guns. Now, obviously, I got a gun. Oh, I'm lagging. Sorry. Oh, you have the sci-fi guns, and there's 2031. No, we don't want that. We want. Oh my goodness. We want a lagging gun. Yep, there we go. It lags again. Alright, never mind then. Then I'll show you that in the next video because my computer can't take the actual lag right now. So yeah, so just remember that a cube can do this. Now just tune in for the next episode because I've got some interesting things for you, and I've got a full assist that gives you everything like color, like even like stuff, and I'll show you how to make a terrain in the next video. I think that's pretty interesting. Alright though, but without further ado, that'll be it for this video, and stay tuned for the next. If you really want that project in, just hit that like button and subscribe. Alright, the next video will be coming in maybe this week, maybe next week, we'll see. But hopefully you enjoyed this video, if hopefully you enjoyed Unity, and I wish you to keep coding on, guys. I'll see ya. Peace out.